guys, so this is going to be a little Myo Fascia session and probably about 20-25 minutes long for the shoulders and upper back. So for this session you will need a block and a couple of tennis balls. So we are going to begin by just coming down onto our backs. So again, just having your kind of tennis balls and your block to hand, so you can grab them when you need them. So just coming down onto your backs and just taking a few moments here. Again, just to get comfortable. So whatever position feels comfortable here. So again, whether you want to have the feet on the floor, the knees bent, whether you want to have this kind of the knees touching. So again, you can just allow the lower back to soften. Then you can maybe have the soles of the feet together, knees popped out to the side, or again, you can have the legs stretched out. So just whatever feels good here. And then we're just going to take a few moments, again, just to shift that awareness inwards. So as always, we just become aware of the body. And we become aware of the parts of the body that touch the floor. So again, in this position for me, it's kind of the back of the hands, the back of the shoulders, the glutes, the calves, the heels, the back of the head. And on our next exhalation, we're just going to really sink down into those areas. So we're just going to really allow the weight of the body to just sink down, just become nice and heavy. So just like letting go of the body, allowing the body to become nice and relaxed, nice and heavy, letting go of any tension there. And then we can just, again, bring our awareness to that breath. So we just become aware of the inhalation and the exhalation. And then again, we can just slowly just bring that breath and the awareness into the body. So again, just breathe in from the top of the head right down into the fingers, the toes. And again, as we exhale, we just allow the body to become nice and heavy and just let go of any areas of tension, tightness, discomfort. And again, as we exhale, just allow those areas just to soften, relax, release. And again, just breathe in from the top of the head, right down into the fingers, the toes. And again, as we exhale, just that allowing the weight of the body to just sink down into the floor, just letting everything relax, release, and soften. And then we can just slowly start to bring a little bit of movement into the body. So kind of like wiggle the fingers, the toes, take the head from side to side. And whenever we're ready to bring a little bit more movement into the body, just stretching out however feels good. And again, we can just exhale. Just relax and release and soften. So we're going to begin with a little bit of neck work here. So you can either use a block or tennis balls, whichever you prefer. So if you're using a block, you're going to have the block on its kind of slightly narrower and taller side. And you're basically going to kind of use the edges of the block just to kind of massage out the back of the neck. So we're just going to start by bringing that block underneath the back of the head. And then we can just slowly start to take the head from side to side. So again, we're just using the kind of the ridges of the block. And again, with the Myo Fascia work, it's Myo, just this muscle, fascia, obviously connective tissue, fascia. So with the Myo Fascia work, we want to really kind of soften into it, just let go. So if we find an area that feels quite stuck, a little bit tense, a little bit tight, We're just going to kind of relax into those areas. And we want to kind of just try and allow the body to soften and relax. So we're not trying to go too deep here. We just want everything just to kind of be nice and chilled out. And again, if you do get a little tight area, you can just kind of hang out there for a few breaths and just kind of breathe into it a little bit. And again, you can just stay with a block and use block, or if you would prefer to try tennis balls, you have your tennis balls and you bring them kind of either side of the neck, kind of at the base of the skull. So you've got those two kind of dimples at the base of the skull. So that's kind of where you want the tennis balls to be. And again, if you are using tennis balls, you can put them in a sock, or you can just kind of use your fingers there just to kind of hold them in position. So I just use my first finger and thumb and just kind of gently hold them there. And again, with the tennis balls, you can just kind of hang out there, just relax into it. You might again take the head a little bit from side to side, a little bit up and down. And as always with the Myo Fascia, you're working with the tennis balls, you just play around. So play around a little bit with the movement, play around with the position. So again, whatever feels good for you. But again, just take it to that point where you feel it, but again, just soften into it. So we're trying to kind of keep the parasympathetic nervous system kind of active here. So we don't want to go into that flight or fight. We just want to have that kind of rest and kind of digest. And then when we've done a few rounds with either the tennis ball or the block, we can now start to work into your trapezius, so your traps. So again, trapezius is that very big muscle that kind of runs across the whole of the back. But we're going to kind of work into the top of the traps here, the top of the trapezius near the shoulders. So again, you want to have your balls and you want to bring them roughly again just below kind of where the top of the shoulders are. And kind of again in from the kind of the spine, sorry, kind of out from the spine towards the shoulders. And for this one, you want to kind of work in a bridge position, and you can have your block again for these. So again, you can bring those balls and you can just kind of again play around a little bit, kind of getting them into a position that feels good. And then again, I find play around a little bit with the arms. Again, you might have the arms down by the side, you might have them shoulder level. I like the cactus arms because I really get really tight through the front of the chest. I really like the cactus arms. You also might want to have your block to hand for some of these ones. So with the trapezius ones, you can kind of alter the pressure. So if you kind of have your feet in a rough bridge position, if you start to slowly press into the feet and lift up, you'll apply more pressure onto the tennis balls and the top of the traps. And you can go back down. And again, you can play around here. I love this one. I get really tight shoulders and trapezius, or planks, downward facing dogs, and climbing. So again, you can keep moving here and kind of lessening the pressure by lowering, and then again increasing the pressure by lifting. Or you can come to a point where you get a really good kind of amount of pressure on those tennis balls. And then again, you can just relax here. So you can use your bridge or your block to kind of keep you in a supported bridge. And again, as always, playing around a little bit with the arms. Again, do you have them at shoulder level? Do you have them cactus arms? And again, for me, this is quite intense. So to begin with, I'm just going to relax here. I'm just going to soften into it. And again, I find if I just bring my arms out a little bit higher, again, it just slightly intensifies again. So I can just relax here. And again, with these ones, you can press pause on the video and just spend as long as you want in them. And again, once you've hung out there for a little bit more time, you can also sometimes again play around with maybe again increasing the height and the pressure. But again, really go gently with these ones. You want to really soften into them. So again, just whatever feels good for you. Oh, that feels so nice. Whew. And again, as always, come out, we can just gently bring those arms back down. We can press into the feet, we can slide out properly. And again, we can slowly come back down. So next we're going to move into our rhomboids. So again, rhomboids are quite small muscles, but can cause lots of tension. They're those ones where often when you've been driving or you've been sitting at a computer for a long time, that's where you kind of get your fingers and kind of try and dig in there between the shoulder blades. So that's where we're going to work into next. So again, rhomboids are kind of, again, in from the spine out towards the shoulder blades, about partway down the shoulder blades. So again, between your shoulder blades and the spine. And again, as always with these ones, you just have to play around and really find the position that works for us, for you. So again, it takes a little bit of kind of getting into position. Oh, that's good. And again, with these ones, you can, again, if you've got very tight, you might want to slightly support the head. You can again clasp the hands behind the back of the head. Again, rhomboids, we hope, can hold a lot of tension here. These very small muscles, but again, can cause a lot. So again, you might just kind of stay here and just breathe into it. You can see them a little bit there. Or again, I sometimes find, especially the shoulders, I'm a climber, I have very tight shoulders. Sometimes it's just enough for me to actually start to move the legs. So again, I don't need to kind of move the arms or the upper body. I can just slightly increase that pressure by just a little bit of moving the legs. So again, you can just stay there. You can go a little bit across the muscles. So go a little bit from side to side. You can go a little bit up and down again by moving the feet. Going to play around with like coming into a very kind of low bridge, just lifting that bum a little bit off the floor. Again, a little bit side to side. God, it feels so good, this. Oof. And again, could stay here forever. So if you want to stay here for a little bit longer, again, you can just pause the video and hang out here for a few breaths. So the next couple of ones we're going to work into, we're just going to use one tennis ball. If you're a real glove punishment, you could use two, but one's enough. So this is where we're just going to work all around the shoulder area. So we're just going to kind of get our tennis ball, and we might start at the top, we might roll down, we might roll towards the outer, we might kind of roll underneath the scapula there. And again, you're just going to play around. And I find this very intense. Again, sometimes for me, slightly less in the intensity is to lift up my head. And again, you can play around with the feet, because then again, you can decrease the pressure. You can have a little side from side. You can again, oh, it's intense. You can again take it a little bit into kind of moving the arm a little bit there as well. So again, just, whatever feels good. And again, if you have very tight through the shoulders, or if you're doing a lot of at a computer, a lot of climbing, I actually feel that into my top of my shoulder here. You often get quite a lot of referred stuff, I find, with this. So it's quite interesting. Sometimes you're working on one area and you'll feel it in a totally different place. And again, you can just hang out in one place, you can move, you can come down a little bit. Again, take that tennis ball a little bit higher up, go a little bit towards the outside. Oh, feels good. So that, when I take my arm out to the side, I feel it through the front of the chest again. Oh, that's quite intense. And again, when you're ready, also swap sides. So again, you can just play around. You can have the head on the floor, you can have the head supported, you can have the legs stretched out, you can move the arms, you can move the legs, you can just stay in one position, you can play around and find what feels really good for you here. And again, for me, it's just enough to do a little bit side to side, or maybe just move my arm a little. And again, just try and breathe into it. Ooh, Just going 2, 4, release. Oh. So the last couple of ones we're going to do here, just to finish off the sessions, we're just going to do a couple of stretches. We're just going to do a couple of little twists here. So we're just going to gently take our arms out to shoulder level, and we're going to either bring our feet onto the floor. So we're going to have our feet on the floor, we're going to have our feet and knees together. So we can either have palms facing up towards the ceiling, or again, we can have palms facing towards the floor. And we're just going to start with that little window wiper with the legs. So do that little side to side. And again, we can bring our head into the movement if we want to. So like the head going in the same direction as the legs, opposite direction then. And then the next time we drop those legs over towards one side, we can just allow them to sink down towards the floor. We can again just relax here for a few breaths. And then again, we can just bring those legs back to center. We can again just have that little window wiper with the legs. And again, the next time we drop our legs over towards that opposite side. We can again just relax here for a few breaths. And again, we can bring those legs back to center. We can now walk our feet so they're about hip distance. Or again, if you like a little bit more movement into the lower back, you can take your feet kind of beyond hip distance. And again, you can either just turn the palms up to face the ceiling, or you can come into cactus arms again if you like that little bit of openness through your chest. Again, some people don't find cactus arms particularly comfortable, so that's fine. If you don't, just have your arms stretched out to shoulder level. And again, if you find your cactus hands, if your elbows are in line with your shoulders and your hands lift a little bit off the floor, just lower down a little bit and drop those elbows so they're slightly lower than the shoulders. And again, we can just have that little window wiper of the legs. And then again, the next time we drop our legs over towards one side. Okay, whichever side we go to, you can leave the legs there. Again, if you like to add that little bit of weight here into the twist, you can hook your kind of bottom foot over your top knee. I find that's a little bit too intense for my knees. I just prefer to keep my feet on the floor. Again, whatever feels good. And then again, just that awareness of allowing the back of the hands, back the shoulders, back the chest, just to sink down into the floor. And just that letting go, so again, just find that gentle opening there through the front of the chest. And again, we can come back to center. We can again just have that little window wipering from side to side. And then again, the next time we drop those legs over towards that left, well, over towards the opposite side, we can again just allow the legs to sink down. And again, we can leave the legs as they are. We can hook that bottom foot over the top knee. And again, we can just relax down here. So again, just that allowing the upper body to become nice and heavy. Just that letting go. And then again, we can just slowly come back to center. We can again just take a few moments here. So again, we might just relax the arms, relax the legs. And again, just that letting the body go. And again, just taking a few deep breaths in. And again, on your exhalation, just allowing the weight of the body just to sink down into the floor. And just allowing everything to soften, relax, and release. So, thank you very much, guys.